In Luke 15, there is a parable of the two sons. The younger son received his share and went to a faraway country, squandering his inheritance. Then, thinking of his father, he returned, and his father accepted the younger son. Then a feast was held in the town, but the older son was jealous and did not come to the feast. In the parable of the two sons, the older son refers to the Pharisees, broadly speaking the Jews, and the younger son refers to tax collectors and prostitutes, broadly speaking the Gentiles. In other words, the Pharisees were jealous of tax collectors and prostitutes eating with Jesus, and the Jews were jealous of the Gentiles coming to the feast of the kingdom of God. Then why did the Jews not participate in the feast of the kingdom of God? The gospel was preached to the Jews first, but they rejected it. During his public ministry, Jesus told them not to go to the Gentiles' way or to the house of the Samaritans, but to go to the lost in Israel. But didn't the Jews reject him? Then, after his resurrection, he said, "Go and make disciples of all nations." And the Apostle Paul, like Jesus, at first went to every Jewish synagogue and preached the gospel. But when the Jews rejected the gospel, he declared, "We are going to the Gentiles." But Jesus warned the Jews in a parable that this would happen. When a man sent his servant to come to him on the day of his feast, he said, "Come to me." But some refused because they had bought a field, others because they were married. So didn't the master send his servant to go out into the streets and call out people to invite them to the feast? In other words, he warned that since the gospel was preached to the Jews first, but they rejected him, he would go to the Gentiles. Then a question arises, aren't the Jews God's original people? No. Just as he left the 7,000 who remained in the days of Elijah, he left a remnant. So Jews and Gentiles will become one and build God's house.